Hey guys, this is Libby Flanagan. Welcome back to my channel. Doing a little bit of changes in the garden and I wanted to show you guys what I'm doing. So my zucchini and crookneck squash have been infected with powdery mildew, which is like a white mildew that gets on the leaves and affects the leaves of the plant, and then the plant can't photosynthesize, so they can't make energy. And so I'm not getting as many zucchinis or really like any crookneck squash. And things are starting to rot over there. So I'm gonna be taking those two plants out. I'm gonna be planting some pumpkin and butternut squash in its place immediately right after. And I'm gonna be treating the ground and the cantaloupe and watermelon that are right next to that with this little home remedy that I found, that's got like dish soap and baking soda and water that you spray on the ground and on those plants to help protect them from that mildew coming back. And you don't want to compost what I'm pulling out. I'm not going to compost it because then your powdery mildew is just going to come back year after year. So that's what I'm doing in the garden tonight. I apologize. It is already pretty dark outside, but I think that's part of having a garden as a hobby right now and not a full-time job. Things just happen at night around here. So that's the way it is. So let's get out there and get started. It's like pretty thick, and I didn't know this before I started gardening, but cucumber and squash are like really prickly. So yeah. All right, here it is. Watch out, Nala. Did you see her? I feel sad pulling these up, but they gave us a lot of good vegetables and they were really good plants, and we'll plant more next year. You know, I saved that really big zucchini I was growing. If you're following me on Instagram, you saw the pictures. It was massive, and I'm gonna try and harvest the seeds out of that. So I mean, this is really like early to be pulling up zucchini, but it's got this disease and I don't want that to spread to my other plants. It's not worth keeping in for me, even though it's been so productive. And I'm pretty sure I can't feed this to the chickens either, so that's kind of sad, but you know, don't want disease in the garden. That's a big no. I'm surprised Nala isn't messing with that stuff. I pulled a zucchini off of this one the other day, but I'm not seeing any. Yeah, that zucchini just died right there. It's crazy how big this thing is. God. Yeah, I don't even know if I'll be able to get it out of the ground. The nice thing about working at night is it's a lot cooler. So that's one positive thing. Well, let's see. Definitely was getting and staying too wet under here. Like this plant was so big, it just wasn't breathing. I think next year I'm gonna do a little bit more pruning of this back to keep it drier under here so that I don't get rot again. But I did get a lot of zucchinis and a lot of summer squash, and overall it was a good harvest, I would say. But yeah, the other thing for next year is you can pre-treat for powdery mildew with this baking soda and dish soap recipe. Look how crazy this thing got. Like, look how big. That's just one plant. That whole thing. Isn't that crazy? Alright. Bye, crookneck squash. Yeah, so for me, one plant of each feeds one person for sure. I would say in excess. I've been eating zucchini and crookneck squash is basically my main vegetable since they started producing. And luckily I have my okras coming in now, so I can kind of start eating that as my main vegetable, because I gotta pull this stuff out. So yeah, that will be good. So that was the main root, but there's another root over here that just formed from where it was touching the ground. There we go. Oh man, that'll be able to pull. Oh, and I think there's a little bit of the cantaloupe vine in here. I'll try to pull that out. There you go. All right. Up she goes. Oh. Now, if I had goats, I could eat all that. And that's it. It's all out. And so right here, I've planted my pumpkin, and then this one that I'm gonna do on the right side is butternut squash, and then over on the left side is an acorn squash. Seeing quite a few little worms in there, so that's good. Earthworms. Keeping everything pretty loose, actually. There wasn't really that much to till. A little bit of, oop, sorry. There's that. Hey, out of the garden. Not left. Out of the garden. Thank you. I used to just let her in the garden, but she started eating my cucumbers, so she has to play in the yard now. I think she's okay with it. Do you have your volleyball? Yeah, good girl. All right, so then I'm just kind of gonna even that out, and then I'm gonna make my mounds. Hello, Bee. Oh, I'm sorry. Is your squash gone? Probably used to coming right here for the squash. Definitely gonna be a hot one today, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover this up with some chicken mulch, we'll call it. And this should help keep the moisture in the soil, which will be critical in these first couple days for these little seedlings. They don't have a deep root system yet, and they're not prepared to take the heat that they're about to get from the sun today. All right, we got a baby watermelon right there. Got another one right here. It's got a funny shape to it. And then there's one more right there. All right, this watermelon fell off the vine or something potentially like chewed this vine, but when I came out, it had already been cut off. So I am bringing it inside and I'm gonna go ahead and cut it open, even though obviously it's pretty small. It's got a pretty funny shape, although it is pretty heavy, so maybe that's a good sign. And it does have a big white spot, obviously, which I know are good things to look for in the grocery store. So I'm hoping that this watermelon's gonna be good. Let's see. All right, fingers crossed. I don't know how to cut this. It's like a really funny shape. All right, that's pretty green. Probably it's all gonna be pretty green. Oh yeah. Not quite ready. That's okay. This will be a delicious chicken cheek. It smells pretty good actually, but not red. I might try and eat it. Let's see what happens. Me gardening is just gonna be me eating things before they're really ready to be eaten. I think that's basically how it's gonna go. Man, it smells so good. Really, it does. Okay, trying it. Okay, it's actually pretty good. Like, even though it looks white, it tastes like the red part of the red part of a watermelon, but there's like a lot of seeds. I guess I didn't get like a seedless variety. There's like 20 to 30 seeds probably. Chickens are gonna love it. Let's see if Nala likes it. Nala, can you juice it pretty? Pretty. Good girl. What do you think, Nala? What do you think, Nala? Do you like it? You want some more? Good sit. That's pretty good. You like watermelon? You're a watermelon dog? I'd say so. Oh, she took it from me. Are you gonna eat the whole rind and everything? Apparently. This is the tale of how my misfortune is the chicken's gain. So something I've learned about chickens is that they pant when they get hot. And it's just been super hot here, like upper 90s every day. So they have been panting a lot and they've been super hot, but I learned something you can do is give them watermelon and freeze it. So this is a fresh piece that is cut, but I'm probably gonna give them some frozen tomorrow. It looks like they're excited. So I make this noise, chuk chuk, chuk chuk, chuk chuk, chuk chuk, chuk chuk. So they know that I have something yummy and they come to me. So let's open it up and see if they like it. Everyone is doing really well. They're getting a lot bigger, I think. So this is Luann right here. That's Wilma right there, and that's Roxanne. And remember, Luann is a leghorn. She will make white eggs. Wilma she's the one who just stood up. She's on the left, right here, or in the middle, I guess I should say. Hey, what are you doing? And she will make light brown eggs. She's a silver lace Wyanette. Ow. Roxanne is the one who just pecked my finger. Oops. And she is a barred rock. And she too will make brown eggs. So they've been getting little watermelon treats. They also get sunflower treats, and you can see they've pecked out some of the seeds. I think it's easier for them when I'm holding it. Still, they can peck at it better. All right, so I ate some, Nala ate some, and the chickens ate some, and now I'm gonna cut the rest up and freeze it and give it to the chickens a little bit at a time in like the middle of the day when it's super hot, so they have a little cooling treat. So I'm just gonna cut it up and then put it in the freezer. All right, so we got it all cut up. Just gonna put it in this old container that I saved, because I save every container. All right, so I thought I would wrap up today's video with a little bit of a garden update. First of all, the flowers are in full bloom and they just look gorgeous. We have all different colors going on and lots of different types of flowers. Like I know I have some marigolds here and just a bunch of different other stuff. Some of them are really pretty. I think this one is probably my favorite one. We'll get a little close up. Look at that, it's just so gorgeous. The lemon and lime tree is doing really well. I've got tons of branches with new growth. And if you look right here, some of the lemons are starting to yellow up and some of my limes are getting pretty big. So that's pretty good. On my watermelon vine over here, I have had quite a couple pretty decent watermelons. You saw one of them earlier in this video, but I have found that we have a chipmunk and it is like eating the stem and it broke this one off, which is obviously too small. So this will be a chicken treat, but I do have some cantaloupes growing in here that are getting to be a pretty decent size. What I have read says that it needs to be brown in between the veins and then it'll be ready to pick, but I have that one and that one right there. And then there's a third one back in here. I don't know if you can really quite see it, but there's lots of other little watermelons popping up. I have one right here and another one right here. That is pretty decent. I don't know if the chipmunk will pick that off, but I bet they will. My mint has propagated successfully, which I'm not surprised because mint is super hardy, but there's lots of new leaves on that. So that's awesome. And then over here, my okra is doing super well. These are some okra that I transplanted, so they're a little bit smaller than the ones in the back were from seed. And so I just wanted to show you guys how okra grows. I think it's kind of unique. There's a little close up right here. You can see the okra grows like straight up like this. So this one's about ready to pick. So you pull off the whole stem like that and pull the whole thing off. So it's kind of cool how they grow up like that. And okra blooms are just super beautiful. If you follow me on Instagram, I post a lot of those on my stories. So you have seen them. And then over here, my cucumber has just been taking over. You can see it's like all over the place and in between these beds. I have started to trellis them, so I am getting more coming up the vine. You can see I have lots of little cucumbers here, and I even have some bigger ones that might be ready to pick in a couple days. I have been dealing with some pest issues. If you look closely on this one, you can see this is some cucumber that got eaten, so I bet this one has some holes on it. Yeah, so there's like some caterpillar or worm or something that's been getting into those. But I try to just cut off the parts that the worm has been in, and I give that part to the chicken, and then I eat the part that the worm hasn't touched. And then my tomatoes are doing pretty well. My cherry tomatoes tend to have a little bit of rot on them. Like this one has a little spot right there, but I'll just cut that off and probably still eat it. And then my big tomatoes are getting to a place where I can't really keep up with pruning them or anything, so they've just gotten kind of all over the place, but it is what it is. I have gotten a few ripe large tomatoes from them. See, this branch is just, it's all over the place. It's fun, it's happening. I am dealing with some powdery mildew. So if you look at this leaf right here, it has some powdery mildew on it. It's like this white spotting. And so I'm gonna have to treat for that. What I have learned is you can do a spray with just milk in it. It is 1 part milk to 8 parts water, and you wanna do that in full sun. The proteins need to be activated by the sun in order to have their antifungal effects. And so I'm probably do that sometime this weekend where I can spray everything and treat for that, because it started over on my squash plants, which I forgot to talk about that. But right here, I think I filmed this clip, so you've probably already seen it, but I had to take the squash plants out because they were just totally covered in that powdery mildew. And I tried to transplant some stuff, some pumpkin and some squash, but it has just been too hot and I don't think they're gonna make it. But luckily I have a few more transplants that I can try later. So that's pretty much all the updates I have. Next year, I'm definitely going to include more trellises in my garden so that I can have the cucumber growing up that and have the watermelon and the cantaloupe growing up some more trellises. Just make things like a little bit more organized and keep things from rotting on the ground. I'm happy to have celebrated a birthday this week, and I say as far as quarter life crises go, the garden has been a pretty good one. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos and supporting me. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thanks for hanging out. Like 16 inches. What's that crazy dog doing?